So Ravi sir, thank you so much for giving this opportunity. It's I'm very privileged to have you on this discussion part, and Digital Terminal is known for tech news, bringing content which is relevant for the IT players, whether they are adopting IT or whether they are selling IT. So we cater to all of the domain. So should I start?
Yeah, please go ahead. It's great to really catch up with you. I also had the opportunity to go and visit the digital, the terminal, website. Very interesting,
Nice.
insights there actually.
Thanks for the appreciation and your feedback. Will definitely bring this content also very relevant for our audiences who wants information from players like you. Before I start, so can you brief about your role at Wipro and how things are going on at Wipro?
Okay. I think that's actually a good point to start for a simple reason that whenever the word Wipro is mentioned, typically
Correct.
people mistake it to be the IT company, right?
True.
So whereas Wipro Enterprise, Wipro has two group companies. So one is the Wipro Limited, which is the IT behemoth, and second one is Wipro Enterprises, which is completely non-IT, the company which is brick and mortar business. So Wipro Enterprises has two major segments. So one is the B2C, which deals with the consumer products, lighting and foods business, where it is ready to cook, as well as spices and snacks business. And then we are in the engineering B2B business, where we manufacture. We are the largest manufacturers of hydraulics in India, as well as we have footprints in all over the globe. Similarly, we are into the industrial automation business, where we are in fact empowering the companies to get onto the industry 4.0 standards in terms of manufacturing. And then we are in the aerospace business, where we manufacture the landing gears and the frame for the bodies of the aircraft. And mostly people would have flown in the aircrafts which are which have some or the other part made by Wipro. And then we are in the water technology business, as well as we are in the 3D printing business, which is metal 3D printing. So this is the B2B engineering business that what we are. So to clearly dominate, designated B2C and the B2B business. And we are present in around 25 countries with our legal entities, and with around 80 legal entities in place. And then we have got a revenue of around $2.5 billion annually. So
Oh.
this is the brief about Wipro, which is the enterprises, which is actually the non-IT part of Wipro.
So thanks for clarity. It's really you said right. When we talk about Wipro, all things about those BPO services and all these things. Great to know through our platform, our audiences will also know how many groups we have, what are the different diversification of the business Wipro is having. Thanks for sharing. Now I'll move to my official session, which I have been given to have some discussion around those topic, which is very relevant for my audiences to know. So should I start my first query for you, sir?
Please go ahead, Rajiv.
Okay. So Wipro has been at the forefront of digital transformation, which we all know. And what major shifts in enterprise technology and operation prompted you guys to move to Oracle Fusion Cloud EPM? And what strategic objectives were you aiming to achieve through this kind of modernization which you're doing? So this is very important to know because adopted this solution. So what is your take on this part?
Yeah, I think as I explained to you, Wipro Enterprises is actually a multi-geography, multi-segment, and multi-currency, nature of the business, which makes it really complex, if you ask me, in terms of managing, collating, compiling, preparing any of the financial statements.
Correct.
So you need to have ability to real time really work and extract the data and do the translations, do the revaluations, and with all the controls inbuilt from the point of view of a global company which needs to cater to the global compliance requirements in terms of the financial reporting. And it has to be robust enough so that it's always accessible from the point of view of any geography wanting to really have it. So this requirement in fact made me way back in 2017 to just go and do a short list of what are all the solutions available at that time in the market. and to better how exactly we can really achieve some of the framework that I put in place for the purpose of evaluating various service providers. So I'll just tell you that there are it was a grid of probably 3 by 2, wherein we evaluated the kind of objectives what we wanted to accomplish. The first was our application of choice. It had to have one ability to manage complexity and to do and scaling up, because we are an inorganic company, which where we are growing from 40 entities to 80 entities in the last 7 years. So we continue to grow inorganically, right? So that is one of the first criteria. The second criteria was our solution. It had to have in fact tech banding, as well as speed. This was very, very essential requirement, because I just didn't have the wherewithal to go ahead and change the technology very often, because nowadays the turnaround time for any evolution of the new technology is very, very short, right? The third and the last objective was our partner of choice had to be having the depth. He should be investing a lot in innovation, and they should be reliable. These were the three main objectives, which on which parameters we evaluated various offerings which were in the market, which led us to our EPM cloud solutions.
That's great to know. Means, in 2017, you started these kind of, modernization. So can we say that 2017 was a time when you started original, actual digital transformation journey for organization?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'll tell you, I think we we started our growth journey at that point in time, and that is when we started framing up our own vision, our digital transformation objectives. Putting them together, and then started taking which are all the priority items which we need to really address in a phased way. And this was probably the first item that we tackled.
Okay. Great to know, because it's been now almost 8, 9 years, and you might have been seeing the benefits and the growth your company is having right now. I'll move to my next part, which is about legacy systems often restrict agility and scalability. So can you elaborate on the core limitations Wipro faced before adopting cloud native tech like EPM platform, and how overcoming those barriers has improved cross-functional alignment and performance? So it has 2, 3 part in this. So I think you'll be able to answer that.
I think I know looking back, it really is I think I can articulate it very well. But when you started the journey, it was completely different. So if you look at it, what were all the pain points that we were dealing with at that point in time? The first one I already told you. Our landscape was multiple ERPs. Right, we are acquisitive and we have grown inorganically, which in fact rendered our estate with multiple ERPs. Right, any solution had to cater to this particular requirement of having multiple chart of accounts, and multiple kind of I would rather say output that will come, but it had to come in give me a cohesive financial reporting. Second thing was our on-prem solution, whatever we had, was extremely slow. Like consolidation process used to take hours, and my team used to stay overnight for many days in the office, just to get the consolidation. They used to get completely tired out by the time entire thing happened. And again, we used to dread, hopefully at the end of say multiple hours, the report that it throws out is actually correct, because if you were to rework it, then it will take another round of hours there. So the third one is the dependency on the IT function itself within the organization, because I had to have my servers working at optimum speed. Server was ours, right? The physical server was ours. Physical network was ours. Physical security was ours. So all these things, I need to always have an IT person who had to be on the standby for me, so that my close can go seamlessly, for the purpose of the board reporting. And the last and the most important thing was, technology had begun to change, with a much lesser turnaround time. So version upgrades used to happen very, very often. I remember we were on some version called version 2.2. I was made to upgrade to 2.4. It appears very simple, but it was almost like a new rollout. And though I am on-prem, I had to do re-implementation of the solution to ensure that the new patches which is provided by the on-prem solution provider was all in fact put into my new solution. So this used to happen very frequently, as a result of which our entire I would add as a resources used to really focus on that with a lot of concern. Hopefully the report turns out without any problem there, because I had to do the testing, I had to do complete implementation there and train the teams again for the new features out there. And now with the EPM coming in, what has happened is connectivity and access to multiple geographies, is seamless. I don't have to worry about the server capacity or the downtime, etc. They are taken care. Speed, is extremely, good, because press of a button, you don't have to wait for hours together. There's no dependency on our IT function, so IT is very happy with us, right? And
And
and technological obsolescence is just taken care of, because at the back end, things happen. I don't even realize, what they are changing there. As a result of which, the EPM solution it has brought in a whole new world, of scalability, speed, and remove the technological obsolescence issue forever from us.
that's great. Means, you thought of, doing this, and throughout the process, you faced multiple of challenges which every IT, people faces while, adopting new solutions or experimenting, doing whatever the things. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you are having that kind of performance, that kind of growth which you are expecting, and those barriers are no more there, you know, which you're talking.
Absolutely.
Okay. Sir, implementing platform like Oracle Fusion Cloud EPM at a global scale, because, your organization is not a small organization, it's a very larger enterprise. So, implementing a platform like Oracle Fusion Cloud EPM at a global scale involves significant change. And what were the biggest cultural and technological transformations required internally, and how did you drive organizational buy-in across different geographies and teams?
I know. I think you're absolutely, right there. See, identifying the solution I thought was the biggest problem, but what I realized was that was actually not so difficult, right? Change
Yes.
management was the, tougher, journey that we had to really, undertake. So what has happened, I think during the implementation, what happened, for us also was that we were in the last mile. Covering the last mile is the most difficult and the most painful, kind of a, journey. So I have seen a lot of organizations doing 90% of the implementation because of the severe pain and the noise that happens. They just let it go. So here, we just have to have the resolve to go ahead and complete. In fact, some of our business segment CFOs called me up and said, Ravi, call it off. Let's move back. It's too painful for us. And I think I just have to have the resolve, there to continue with it and stick and take it to the logical closure there. And basically, there was 4-point framework that I, just probably I would, really, at hindsight, I can just say this framework works a lot in any change management which we deployed. I call it as ICDB framework. The first I means involve and invest, which typically means we as the core team driving this change should be as good, if not better, in terms of understanding and designing the solution as much as the product, in fact, provider as well as the implementer. That gives confidence within the organization. So the involving and investing in, understanding it, and then be, competent at it, makes a lot of difference. Second, C is for communication. No communication is less communication. We just need to communicate into the teams there throughout the organization on this change that is happening, so that it resonates with everybody. The drumbeat should start, much ahead of the journey with a timetable, so that people know what is hitting them, when is it hitting them, because these are the big changes that happen, right? The third one, I see T. T is the training, because there is a fear of change, when you do undertake these kind of changes, all over the across, organization, all across the geographies. So you should ensure that people, get into the, they play around with the new solution, they get comfortable with it, so that there is a lot less noise when we really go ahead and press the button, for implementing. The last one, which is very important, which a lot of times people forget, is the take the buy-in from the management. See, now in my case, again, we, as per the statutory requirement, we should send the financials to the board 3 days in advance, right? Because we were implementing it, we just socialized with the board that we are implementing this solution. We took time from them to just to exempt us from this 3-day notice, which board was kind enough to give it. This gave me 3 days more so that we can just put across the whole financial reporting on time. So these are the few things which really the framework which would help us in terms of this change management.
So obviously, you were making a big decision, and you had that entire blueprint and everything you had with your team, and you worked, and the management, like you said, supported like this. So that's the kind of a team. As a team, you're working, CFO, CTO, and everyone working for the well-being of this organization and having a great journey digitally. Sir, I'll just move to my next part, which is about, how has Oracle Fusion Cloud EPM impacted your consolidation, narrative reporting, and real-time decision making? Could you share some specific metrics or improvements that illustrate the platform's tangible benefits, what we have got?
Yeah, I think when we the core reasons I told you, the why we wanted to really get onto a cloud-based solution, and I think the results that what we got was that one, I think the financial consolidation and the close service in the platform was the one which is the pillar of the entire thing, because that is where entire data resides, right? And this is the one source data which we can use it to all the adjacencies. So when we had this data, with us, which is actually tested, which is audited, which is the one which is signed up, then any of my financial statements, can come out of it, like through narrative reporting with the press of a button. So I can also make through the narrative reporting respective sub functions own up their respective areas. Like if you go to an annual report or a quarterly financials, there are some portions owned by the secretarial team, some portions owned by the treasury team, some portions owned by the tax team, some portions owned by the risk team, right? So all these guys, we can give access to them, and then they will fill it up, and I'll tell that, hey, I am going to roll it up on 20th. Be just your latest versions, you ensure that it's all there. So they will ensure that it's all there. I can just take it and then press of a button, I can take the reports out there. So that version control problem which I had in the Word or Excel, it went away. So second thing, I would rather say is in my tax reporting, because I am the first, probably the only, entity in India to be using the tax reporting compliance service, today, right? And as a result of which, the benefit that we have accrued is that our entire country by country reporting, that is the CBCR, comes out of the TRCS. So this is, as I told you, we are in multiple geographies, and India headquartered company, we need to file, the CBCR with the tax authority. So this whole thing was entirely manual through Excel based. Now with FCCS data being there, TRCS aligns it with the, the CBCR reporting. Click of a button and a bit of a review and adjustments, you are ready to, just go and file CBCR. Similarly, the other thing that all our tax management, the tax managers struggle is to ensure the walk between the effective tax rate and the country tax rates. So this is huge Excel process, and with the TRCS, we are right now embarking on the journey to just get the walks done through the through the application. So this helps us in terms of getting all these things, which takes today probably 6 to 7 days for me to get the walk done. With the press of a button probably and a review for a day, we should be able to get those things up. And other thing which I've been able to accomplish it, many geographies, in the world today need their own local consolidation. Say I have 8 entities in Malaysia. I need a Malaysia consolidation. I have, today, say in Europe, some 6, 7 entities. I need a Europe consolidation. So now sitting here, I can just, probably, just do those local consolidations and give it to the local, finance teams to go ahead and review it and file it, for their local things. So there is no need for a manual local consolidation that is required, out in those locations. So it has added quite a bit of value. Not only that, in fact, through the narrative reporting, we are using it even for our ensuring the board minutes and action, taken report circulation, so that again it's up to date. So we are using it for some of our own niche, kind of a, utilities. Similarly, in fact, our tax audit reports also, we're trying to put it into our narrative reporting. So some of the things we can do on our own, some of them are actually embedded out there. So I think some of the, these are the use cases that I have from this, the cloud based, EPM, that, we have right now, embarked on.
That's I can't even imagine that and how complex it was, because the main because if your organizations are locally reside here only one reason, These are the challenges which is additionally we are facing because we have multi-location across globe and we have to follow all the compliances, regulatory and everything. So you did a great job, fantastic job, you and your team. So we must say it was not easy things to come on. Sir, I'll just move to my next part, which is AI and advanced. So AI, we have to discuss something AI. Everyone is talking about AI.
Agree.
So my next part is about AI. So as AI and advanced analytics becomes key pillars for enterprise and technologies these days, how is Wipro embedding these innovations into financial and operational process? And what role does Oracle's platform play in enabling these capabilities?
Yeah. So see, okay, I just have this thing of calling finance function as the face of the business. So face means financial analytics and compliance excellence. So the finance leads it for the business. So we are the face of the business. So in this, to be the face of the business, we should be able to rely on top of our analytics. We should be on top of our compliances. So while I think what we have done, I can give maybe one of the examples there is that we were using a traditional engine for our accounts payable processing, for the optical character reading, that OCR. So we have right now got a AI based new a service which today gives me a quality which is nearly 100%. Vis earlier what I used to get, the quality was around 70%. So that's the kind of a change that's happened with the AI. So other than that also it also does the multiple language translations much easier, much faster, without leading to much of the training, because these engines need to be trained. So here we have a thing which with much lesser training can really give you the productivity that you are looking for, right? And there are couple of tax analytics that happens there with us. It's more of an analytics, it's not AI. The example what I give you was the one AI that we are using. We are looking forward the to go along with the journey of Oracle EPM on its both the AI as well as the predictive analysis, as it come across us, and as well as involve with them in terms of how exactly we can utilize them.
So, because understanding your nature of things, which you said that the finance was one, which is the face of the company and everything. So you might be discussing with the different departments that where AI agents maybe or AI something integration has to happen. So I'll just add one more thing in AI part because I want to know about because we are seeing a lot of AI agents are coming in picture. Okay, depending on the use cases, you can select your agents and you can integrate depending upon your nature of business, what you're doing. So, what will be your advice to the startups or the smaller players? Should they trust in these agents and they should enable them and they should invest in these AI agents that will change their working logarithm or operation?
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people confuse AI and predictive analysis with the Gen AI. So I think I just want to distinguish there. AI has been there for a long time. If you ask
Yeah,
me,
true.
predictive analysis has been there for a long time. In fact, one of our businesses, the automation business, has a product called In fact, we have a product there for the purpose of with the sensors in the manufacturing automation. Through the sensors, it's called Linecraft.ai. Whereby we actually assure productivity to our customers if they sign up for this particular service. So that is the kind of where it's not Gen AI, but it is a normal AI, that's what we use there. So AI becomes very important for us. It has a lot of use cases. As I told you, the OCR that we are using is AI. Similarly, some of the audit tools that what we are using is based on the AI, which throws up our anomaly report, right? So I think we need to understand what is, because there are host of in fact solutions and applications coming up today. I think if we go ahead and carefully select it, now the question is, you're asking whether startups or anybody for that matter should they sign up. I don't think there is a choice for us. I think we need to understand and we need to ensure that we really understand what is happening in this fast developing sector of usage of languages, usage of the data, and then also throwing up of multiple solutions. So I think we need to AI just like the way we were using probably other digital transformation applications and tools earlier, right? And then earlier, if you look at it, maybe 8 years back when I used to go and discuss, blockchain was big, RPA was big. Today AI is has come into the forum. Now the question is that how much of this is bubble, how much of that this particular thing is actually real, is something we need to experience it. When blockchain came in, again we tried with it, but we realized that probably it is not for our kind of a business, right? And then similarly, when some of the other stuff, RPA came in, we could try it and we could deploy some part of it. Similarly, AI, we are dabbling with it, we are learning it day every day in, and especially the new trainees who come in, they bring in a lot of curiousness, a lot of enthusiasm to it. So we ensure that they are the ones who really on the forefront, and then just also ensure that that cultural change happens as well in the organization, so that we also get a little bit tuned to this new requirements to experiment as well as and also learn in the organization, which is very, very critical for us if we want to be alive.
That's great. You said, sir, means, the last thing which you said about, the new joining, the new people who are coming to the picture, there is a cultural shift in the organization also. You need to adopt certain things which were not there earlier. And so this is in fact, a lot of things which is happening in enterprise, compliances, like, the Privacy Data Act, and which is, so everything is, and this AI adoption is, entire thing is a kind of, change in the atmosphere in working environment, the team and how they collaborate, how they are choosing their everything solutions. So in every department, the AI is making an impact. And rightly you said that, we don't have any choice. We have to move in this direction only, depending on our nature of business. Right.
Yeah, in fact, when you talk about AI, it's more than finance. The usage is much more, say, when you go to market, when you go to competition, when you go to really, where exactly you have to sell, what do the habits of the people, how they really, make their buying decisions. This is where AI is playing a much, much bigger role. Similarly, in the manufacturing line with the sensors, we are able to detect, today in our factories, hey, this particular shaft is going to break down in next 10 hours. To that extent, we are able to really assess and change the shaft, which otherwise would have had a downtime for us. So we are able to avoid our downtime, today because of our AI capability. Right, it's a predictive, AI. So this predictive AI is helping us in terms of, one from a market point of view, two from a production point of view, to help us in finance. At this point in time, we are in fact trying out, really, where all we can get it. We've got a couple of use cases, but again, we're continuously exploring.
Healthcare is also one of the sector which is adopting AI in prediction and all. Like, okay, sir, I'll just move to last part of my queries because I have been given half an hour only, and we are about to conclude that. So, sir, looking ahead, how does this transformation position Wipro to remain competitive and responsive in the increasingly volatile environment which we can see, globally, everything, a lot of things are happening around us. So, what are the next milestones in your digital evolution roadmap? So, you might have thought that these are the things which we have to achieve and these are your targets, like, so if you can share something with us.
No, I think that's a great question to end the conversation. I would say you talked about volatility. So what is changing? If you look at it, I would call it as 4 Cs. So one thing that is changing is the consumer. Today's consumer comes with probably thousands of hours of mobile phone I think usage, right? So here there's a huge fight between, hey, should I be loyal to a brand or should I be novel here?
Right.
So it's a fight between loyalty versus novelty, right? Second thing is basically colleagues. Today, the millennium colleagues are they bring in a different thought process, different skills, different expectations, right? As a result of which and I think we just need to collaborate with them. The third C that I talk about is consumption of data. So data earlier, if you look at it, it was broadcasting. You go ahead and do an advertisement in the picture hall or on the TV or on the newspaper, it was fine. Today, it has to be unicasting, where you need to really address each and every individual separately based on their taste, their preferences. The last C in terms of the volatility is the culture. Look at us. We are a multiple acquisitive company. We have got our company and our employees in all the continents of the world, right? So with this kind of a thing, we just need to ensure that how do we manage this, these cultures to work with one vision, one value system, and one purpose. These are all the volatility challenges, but look at the board expectation. If you look at the board expectation, that remains the same. Again, I got 4 C's here for the board expectation. They want consistency, right? They don't want any surprise. The second C they want is control, in the business. The third C they want is compliance. They don't want any non-compliance with this increasing regulatory requirement. Last C they want is, hey, how can we be competitive? by cutting the costs. So you've got volatility bringing in the 4Cs which I talked about. You got board expecting the same 4Cs which is not changing. So the managing that becomes a challenge for anyone that really in this particular position there. That makes the role of digital transformation a lot more interesting.
So thanks, sir. It's the 4C which you shared with us will definitely help our audiences, our readers, DT readers to know more about things how you have shaped your digital transformation journey, and they can learn from you. And last thing, just let's conclude this discussion. You might have some other engagement also, sir. How has been your working with Oracle? Because we haven't spoken about their team, their support, and the kind of innovation they bring to your table. And how has been journey and your experience so far with Oracle?
No, it's as I told you. I think I was keeping my talk very generic in the beginning, right? I think so we chose Oracle, EPM and the cloud solution there. We went ahead with it. It's always a long term journey. Any digital transformation is long term journey, and I am very proud that I was the first, probably the company in India to go live on FCCS offering of Oracle, and I chose it for a purpose. And I was very happy with the solution what it really offered. But the problem was that we really need to, one thing is we have to invest equally with a partner who comes in, and Oracle has really added a lot of value for us. And in fact, what I noticed was that they had a different kind of an offering to the customers, which they converted that into enterprise version, which really helped us to really toy around with multiple kind of a features, multiple kind of offerings what they had, by bringing them under one enterprise umbrella. We rolled out enterprise version. We moved to the enterprise last year, when we are toying around with the TRCS, we are toying around with narrative. We would be looking into the planning and ESG shortly. So I think what has happened is now with the echo, I think there's a key contribution from the Oracles. In fact, today if you ask me, they are natural extension of us, right? And as a result of which, any problem, any issue that happens, my first port of call is the Oracle. We treat them as our own extension from that point of view. And the technological partner becomes extremely important, and it is not a customer vendor relationship. It is actually going together with the partner. That is where you trust the partner whom you have, who has reliability. That is where we have benefited from whatever Oracle is in fact continuously innovating and offering to us. And whether it is the initial FCCS offering or the current enterprise version offering, or the ESG ones what they are in fact rolling up, I think it is helping us in terms of us being really mitigating the risk of the technological obsolescence, and also achieving the speed and also the quality that is there. So they have been very, very supportive. Oracle EPM Cloud, I would rather say, is that has helped us to really be faster and nimble, and not make this a drag on the organization. Otherwise, reporting and controllership and then this whole consolidation becomes a drag. So today, because of this, we are actually not a drag. We are probably a nimble footed kind of an organization that we are today.
Great to know, sir, because choosing a partner is important, but choosing a technological partner, tech partner is very critical. And all the organizations, they are very they select the companies like Oracle, who are very capable of producing and innovating the solutions which you really require. So there might be great working together. So wishing you good luck, sir. And I had a great learning. And I'm sure that if my audience would like to know more about your journey and everything, I'll reach out to the Diva, and Diva will help us.
Sure. Thanks. It was great talking to you, Rajeev.
Thank you, sir.